My name's Graham Brodgen, and I'm joined today by Rod Parker of Gwalia Healthcare. Hi, Rod.
Morning, Graham. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
So, Rod, just wanted to have a chat really in a conversation around the flooding of February 2020 and how it kind of affected you. So, I guess the first thing to start with is tell us a little bit about what happened and how you were affected by the flood.
Well, the flood came through the whole of our site, so every single part of our building and every department was affected by the flood, from anything from a foot up to nearly a metre, depending on the height of the site and whereabouts it was. Most of our equipment being electrical or having electrical inputs of some format were affected. Our warehouse was wiped out with £750,000 worth of stock in there as well. So it really did affect us overnight, instantaneously.
And how long were you disrupted for? How long were you out of the building?
Well, we weren't out of the building at all. We were disrupted, and we did obviously stop manufacturing. It took us to get the site clean, ready for manufacturing. Took us 4 to 6 weeks of working round the clock with external decontamination teams. And then our first machines went in production within that same period, but only a very small handful that had been refurbished short term to get us back into some type of normality for some of our customers.
And did you do all that cleaning yourself? I understood that you were insured at the time, so did they do that for you, or did you do
No,
that?
we were fortunate enough to be insured fully. So we had a company called Belfer come in and do the industrial cleaning, albeit all our team came in once the site had been assessed for contamination and risk, they were given an necessary PPE and came in and helped with the cleanup process.
Excellent. And the insurance were looked after you well enough, did they?
The insurance were great. They gave us an instant pay within the first few days to keep the wolves at bay and to allow us to get the cleaners in and to so forth, and continue to work with us throughout the process. It took in total about 18 months to actually finish the insurance process and have the final payment. But yeah, they really supported us all the way through. Yeah.
Excellent. That's good to know. And obviously I have been down to see you in the past, and I know the kind of size of your site. Just tell us a little bit about what you've done since the flood, because I know you've been quite proactive in trying to put in some resilient preventative measures.
Yeah, so we have 70,000 square foot on the floor of shop floor and warehousing space that we need to protect. Obviously, we have upstairs as well, but there's no need to protect that. And so downstairs, we've made sure that all our entries have barrier systems. People on every shift are trained to be able to put the barriers in, and we have an emergency call-out team who can come out 24 hours a day to also put barriers up should we need something even more quickly. We also put in bilge pumps into the site, into where we believe to be the lowest points of the site after the topography survey has been carried out. And we've put in one-way valves in all our drains and our toilets and foul and so forth. So we've bunged the sites, and we're just about to build a 1 meter wall around our temporary storage unit.
Right. I mean, that's some great intervention that you've done there to help protect it. And have you had to test any of this yet? Have you suffered any flooding since?
Well, fortunately not, but this weekend we did put the flood defences up because the river did go into the red zone, albeit it was nowhere near breaking the banks. It was a good exercise for the team for me to call the team and give them the red light to deploy the services, all the barriers then. But we've also raised up our electrical cabinets off the floor. All wherever possible, all electrical and all tooling and all storage has been raised to that 0.9 of a metre off the floor.
Brilliant. And it's great to hear that you've got a team that goes out and puts it in, because often that's where it can fail. You've got all the measures, but if it comes at the weekend and no one's about, then those defences aren't in place. But it sounds like you've got that covered.
We have added complications because we run 24/5.
Right.
You need to have fire exits available for people as well to run out.
So I mean, that's great. And you obviously have flood alerts. You get flood alerts, do you? You signed up.
We do.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So what's your insurance situation now then, Rod, since that flood?
Well, for flood, we have to self-insure now, which is why we've spent somewhere in the region of 160 to 180,000 pounds so far on flood defences and other mechanisms to protect our investments and our properties against flood. And that's not just on our own properties, but on rental properties we have on the estate as well.
Brilliant. Okay, great. So, but you don't get flood cover, I understand, through your insurer anymore. You're kind of
no. Well, I could. It all depends on how much you're willing to pay. You can have insurance for anything if you're willing to pay enough.
Yeah.
We looked at how much we were being quoted, and we decided that we would put that amount into a bank every year and self-insure against flood, knowing that within 4 years we'd actually have enough money in our bank account to be able to recover from a minor flood should our defences hold out.
And that's a brilliant approach when you look at it. You know, if it's getting too expensive to get insurance, to do it in that respect, which is fantastic. Okay, is there any what would you say is the biggest impact for you then, or after the flood? Obviously, you've had a financial impact, you've lost some business, but what's the biggest sort of impact that you would say?
Well, it's just the pure time to recover from the disaster. I can only imagine how much harder it would have been without the insurance I had at the time, and without the knowledge I now have. So going forward, if we were to have another flood, I now have a lot greater knowledge and be able to deal with that disaster. I'll be able to trim costs, and I believe turn it around for significantly less cost than what it did the first time. But that's down to the fact that we've learned from our lessons, and we managed to now implement such things such as barriers, such as one-way valves, get rid of all the low-level vents, put in bilge pumps, and understand the topography of our site as well to best protect it from a near disaster again.
I think that's a fantastic example of taking on the lessons learned from the effect and actually putting measures in place to make sure that you don't get impacted in the same way in the future, which is a great example, I think, to a lot of people there, Rod. So
thank you.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for your time, Rod. That's been really useful, and hope to see you again soon.
No problem. Thank you for your time. Cheers, Graham. All my best. Take care. Bye-bye.